Hola estudiantes, es la señora Whitehill y hoy vamos a repasar cómo utilizar el pretérito y el imperfecto juntos con las palabras mientras y cuando. First, let's review the preterite. Vamos a repasar el pretérito. As you already know, the preterite is used for actions that stay in the past. Utilizamos el pretérito para acciones que se quedan en el pasado y terminan en el pasado. Let's review the endings. Las terminaciones para los verbos AR son aste, o, amos, astes y aron. Las terminaciones para los verbos IR son iste, io, imos, istes, ieron. Let's review some of the triggers. These triggers indicate actions that stayed in the past, so the time's very specific. Los activadores son acciones que terminan en el pasado. Now let's review the imperfect. As we've studied already, the imperfect indicates actions that don't have a specific time in the past. Utilizamos el imperfecto para acciones que no tienen un tiempo específico en el pasado. Let's review the endings. Los verbos AR, aba, abas, aba, ábamos, abais, aban. Los verbos e IR, ia, ias, ia, íamos, iais, ian. Remember, there are three irregulars. Hay tres verbos irregulares. Ser, era, ir, iba, y ver, veía. Let's look at some of the triggers for the imperfect. Again, these triggers don't have a specific time in the past, like the preterite triggers. Vamos a ver algunos de los activadores. Estos activadores no tienen un tiempo específico en el pasado. Now let's look at how we use them together with the word cuando, when. Let's look at a sentence. Yo cocinaba. That is imperfect for I was cooking. And the word cuando indicates that there's going to be a change in the verb use. Sonó el teléfono. I was cooking when the phone rang. Notice that when the word cuando is introduced, the preterite is now interrupting the preterite, the imperfect. La palabra cuando indica un cambio en la acción. The word cuando indicates that there's a change in the action. Let's look at more examples with the word cuando. Yo tenía 5 años. Again, imperfect for I was 5 years old. Now we're going to introduce the word cuando to indicate that the imperfect is getting interrupted. Papá me regaló un gato. When my father gave me a cat as a gift. Again, the word cuando indicates that there's a change in the action. Now let's look at some more examples. This time, cuando is at the beginning of a sentence. When cuando is at the beginning of the sentence, usually we use two preterite verbs separated by a comma to indicate that there's some consecutive actions. Cuando yo salí, when I left, comma, me resbalé, I slipped and fell. La palabra cuando indica dos acciones consecutivas en el pretérito. The word cuando indicates in the beginning of the sentence that there are two consecutive actions happening in the preterite, and they're separated by a comma. Now let's look at another word that's usually used with the preterite and the imperfect, and that is mientras, while. There's two ways that this word is used. Either to indicate a change in the action, or for two actions that happen at the same time. First, let's look at actions that change. Luis llamó. Luis called. That would be in the preterite. And now the word mientras is going to indicate that there is a change in the action. Mientras yo estudiaba. Luis called while I was studying. And studying would be in the imperfect. His phone call interrupted my studying in the imperfect. Now let's look at an example where two actions are happening at the same time. Yo cantaba. I was singing. That's the first action and it's in the imperfect. Now we're going to introduce the word mientras. Mientras, while, I dance. Yo bailaba. So it's possible for two imperfect verbs to be separated by the word mientras to indicate two actions that are happening at the same time. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. Adios.